The Urbanite Theater brings new, cutting-edge, thought-provoking plays to the Suncoast theater scene. Plays that introduce new ideas, excite the senses, and sometimes make you want to go back and argue with the cast weeks later about some idea that's been bugging you from a play. Their latest, Incognito, is getting great reviews, and our co-host, Brendan Reagan, Urbanite Theater's artistic director, is in the play, and joining us from Urbanite Theater and also in Incognito is actor Brooke Benson and Daniel Kelly, who is the director. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Incognito, what's it about?
It is a story that really explores the mysteries of the brain using 3 different storylines, and 2 of them are based on true stories. The really odd, fascinating story of the Princeton pathologist who performed the autopsy on Albert Einstein in the 50s. He actually stole the brain during the autopsy. And so it's that story, 50 years later, traveling with the doctor who performed the autopsy, and then it's interwoven with 2 other storylines. One, which is the real story of the most studied man in science, a patient named H.M., who underwent a experimental brain surgery to relieve himself of seizures. And it did happen to work a little bit, but the side effect was he was unable to create any new memories. So you'd be talking to this individual, and he'd reintroduce himself every 30 to 60 seconds, played by Brendan Reagan.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Now, there are 4 actors in the show. You play how many characters?
20.
Yeah.
20
It's
characters?
4 actors, 20 characters, something like 7 different dialects and accents over the course of 50 years.
Yeah.
It's a show that really is a web of stories and characters, and the playwright really set it up to kind of mimic the behavior of the brain, where you only get bits and pieces of information from each character over time. So as an audience member, you're trying to fill in the blanks and trying to really tease out this story, which is kind of what the brain does. We only get bits and pieces of information, and then the brain kind of fills in the gaps.
Now, it's about neuroscience and memory. How do you make that fun and entertaining?
Well, the good news is it's a wonderful exploration of humanity, and so it's tender, it's funny, it's heartbreaking. There's so much human life in it that the science is actually somewhat secondary. I think you'll leave, and the ideas about science will grow on you afterwards, but it's hopefully, if we're doing our jobs, the characters will draw you into their lives, because they all lead fascinating lives and have interesting relationships.
Yeah, it's more about the relationships between the characters.
Which it always is.
Yeah.
That's what we always care about. So is this based on science, or is it fiction?
A little bit of both. So the playwright certainly took some liberties. So 2 of those stories that we mentioned are based in reality, or based on true events and true people. But of course, there's some embellishments and some creative licensing there. And of course, there's characters that never existed that these 2 embody beautifully, with a lot of humor and a lot of heart on stage. And it's really fascinating to see these 2, because there's no costume changes or anything. It just turns on a dime. So you'll be in one scene following one character, and Brooke might turn around and start speaking in different accents and have a different body language and be speaking to someone else on stage that you said, wait, we're in a different time period, we're in a different world. And so it is very quickly moving throughout time, and it's a challenging show, but one that has a lot of rewards at the end.
Must challenge you as actors, for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
it does. You have to use both sides of your brain, the intellectual side and the emotional side. So you're tracking what scene comes next, what dialect you're in, remembering your lines and who you're with in that scene, while then also opening yourself up completely to do a scene with your husband or with a new lover that you have, entered into a relationship with. So
Neat.
that's been
Wow.
challenging.
I think I'm going to come back and argue with you guys about this.
Yes, please do.
Sounds like
If you
one
do,
of those.
we are doing our job right. If you're thinking
Good.
about it after you leave the theater, then we've succeeded.
Well, Incognito is at the Urbanite Theater. It is going to be there through July 8th, so get down and see it. For tickets and information, go to their website, urbanitetheater.com.